if you make a Marvel movie, people love going to Marvel movies. When you do something completely different, it changes the way you calculate the risks that they're taking.
At this moment, the film industry goes for a lot of remakes and reboots and sequels and entire franchise.
Yes.
So why do you think this is happening? Why do we have the need to bring back stories from the past, such as The Lion King?
Well, I think the film industry is facing challenges now in a way that it didn't back when I was young. But now there's so much competition for your attention. And the movie business has to also work in a way where they know they have an audience that's excited and interested. If you make a Marvel movie, people love going to Marvel movies. When you do something completely different, it changes the way you calculate the risks that they're taking. So if you notice, there's a lot more big movies, but movies that they're confident are going to do well. Actually, the internet's been very helpful because when you put a trailer out, they can see how many people see the trailer, they know how much interest there is. And so what was so nice about Lion King was that people were curious about what we were doing. And people were like, why are you making it? Some people were like, I can't wait to see it. And so it was our job to say that even though this was going to be a remake of a film that was done 25 years ago, we were going to do something different and special with it while still living up to people's expectations. And that was honestly the biggest challenge of this production.
Run away, Simba, and never return.
The first time I saw The Lion King, I was a girl, and it was very emotional for me, the message that remember who you are. But now, 25 years later, it takes a more social perspective with the balance that we must keep and the definition of a king or a leader. So what do you think my generation can learn from this new version of The Lion King and how the new audiences will receive this film?
Well, I don't know that it's different in what it's presenting from the version you grew up with. I think we stayed very true to the story. However, each generation interprets something that, it's a wonderful piece. And anything that feels classic and timeless, each generation sees it through the lens of their perspective, right? What's nice about this version might be that younger people who might not be as open-minded to seeing a 2D cartoon, they might not discover that version of the film. Here it introduces it with a little bit of the modern technological magic that might draw them into it. But the story really stays true. And I think, and like you pointed out, I think that it does feel different. Also, you're older than when you saw it the first time. So you have a different sense of responsibility. And I think your generation is facing, how do I fit into this world? How do I move from, because it's going to be your times to be the king. You're not little Simba anymore. And what's that responsibility for you? And so just the fact that you're asking the question to me says you understand what the theme of this is.
Simba, you must remember who you are. The one true king.
And the cast, it's amazing. How did you choose the cast? Did all of them were your first choice, or you had some other options? All of them?
All of them.
And what about Donald Glover?
Donald Glover is...
He's like a genius.
He's a genius, and I'm very lucky that I have kids who are now teenagers, but they were younger when we started 3 years ago. And I remember my son had Donald Glover's, Childish Gambino's picture on his wall, and then my daughters love Beyonce, and so I was exposed to music and people that I might not have been exposed to as an adult. And I said, this music's pretty good. Or Beyonce stuff, you can't help but, it's part of all of our culture. But when your family plays it all the time in the car when they want to put on, then you really get to know everything about them. And Donald Glover, I come from improv comedy. He studied improv comedy. So even though we're different ages, we're from different cities, different worlds, we relate very much on how we communicate about storytelling, about comedy, improvisation. And I knew hiring him and Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner, we could have a lot of fun, and it was like putting on an improv show. And I wanted to make the filming very free. And of course, all the people we hired are amazing singers, except Seth Rogen. who's a good singer, but I wouldn't call him amazing. But he's perfect for Pumbaa, and he does a good job in Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. It ain't no passing craze.
And Can You Feel Love Tonight? He sings a little bit in there too. So we have, all of the cast is incredibly talented.